Hey everyone, it's Matt Donahue with Mission Financial Planners. This is your weekly market update, and this week's update is all about perspective. We'll start off with Marcus Aurelius. There's a quote from Plato that he was really fond of, which was essentially saying, take a bird's eye view of life. Instead of focusing on every single event that happens, take a step back, look at everything. Look at your family, your business, celebrations, challenges, markets, even your state, your country, whatever it might be. But the idea is simple. When you start zooming out a little bit, some of the things that seem overwhelming start to look a little smaller. And honestly, that's probably a good approach for most of us. When we think about markets, financial media rarely encourages a bird's eye view. Every day we're told the market is about to soar, to crash, to explode, to implode, or do something dramatic enough just to generate some clicks on their website or whatever it is they're showing you. If you watch financial television long enough, you'd think the economy was ending every Tuesday and being reborn every Thursday. But let's zoom out. Consumer confidence did soften last week, and new home sales came in lower than expected. Those numbers generated plenty of headlines. But at the same time, U.S. equities have rallied significantly since their March lows and continue pushing towards new highs. The story of that strength remains artificial intelligence. What's interesting is that investors are no longer focusing only on the biggest tech companies. The companies supplying the infrastructure, the semiconductors, the power systems, the materials that are needed to support AI have become major beneficiaries as well. And it's a reminder that opportunities often exist beyond the obvious headlines. When we get into the power of perspective, there's an old story about astronauts seeing Earth from space for the first time. They describe the experience as life-changing. They're hundreds of thousands of miles away from everything. And when they look at all of it, suddenly all the political arguments, social media battles, things people spend all day yelling about suddenly seem pretty small. One astronaut famously said that he wanted to drag politicians into space and make them look back at Earth. While that may not be practical, I think a few cable news hosts could probably benefit from the trip. Perspective changes everything. That same event can look like a disaster when viewed up close and like a minor bump in the road when viewed over a decade. Speaking of things that can feel like disasters, let's talk about IRS letters. Very few pieces of mail will create more anxiety in your life than an envelope from the IRS. You could win the lottery and still get less of a reaction than you have when you see that letter. The good news is that receiving an IRS notice doesn't always mean that something has gone wrong. The IRS sends out millions of notices every year. Some notify you of refunds, some are requesting information or explaining corrections, some involve some balances are due. But the key is simple. Read the notice, don't panic, and remember, the IRS sends notices through the mail. They don't do direct messages on social media, they don't ask for gift cards, and they definitely don't need payment in crypto sent to a mysterious account somewhere overseas. If you disagree with the notice, work with a qualified tax professional and respond appropriately. Most issues can be resolved through correspondence. Shifting over to estate planning, one of the biggest misconceptions we see about that is estate planning is only for wealthy families. Estate planning is really about protecting the people you care about. A good estate plan will have current documents, powers of attorney, healthcare directives, in some cases trusts, but there's also a less obvious tool that matters. It's a personal property memorandum. It's a legacy letter, maybe a family governance plan. If you own a business, what's your succession plan? Me and my partners have seen families spend years building wealth together, and then there's this enormous conflict because nobody took 5 minutes to document their wishes. The money isn't the problem in many cases. The confusion is. Providing that little bit of clarity, taking a few moments to jot some notes down, can prevent enormous conflicts when you're gone. When you step back and look at everything that we've talked about this week, there's a common theme, and that is perspective. The investor who focuses on decades instead of days tends to make better decisions. The taxpayer who responds thoughtfully instead of emotionally will have a better outcome. And the family that plans ahead often preserves not only wealth, but their family. Zoom out, take that bird's eye view of your finances, your family, your life, your business, your goals. You may really think that some of the things keeping you awake at night really aren't as big as they appeared. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. Keep making informed financial decisions. We'll see you next week.